Hello all, welcome to iTutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with the Unit 15, Subsession 6 of MMPC 007, that is Key Elements of Ethical Communication. In last video, we already started Unit 15, so you may please revise that. And ethical communication integrate the essentials of communication, which include the objectives of communication, the message itself, and the consequences or action post the communication. The ethics related to the message are always on the forefront. The sender has to make a precise decision on what to say and how to say. With the freedom of choice comes the responsibility and accountability as well. The freedom increases when the communication is conducted within the close circle. The choice of attentiveness and response lies with the listener. This freedom reduces during communication with the strangers and is a challenge because the context and situation in which the message is intended and received may be different. This further complicated when the communication is happening in cross-cultural settings. Therefore, while communicating, the key elements should be kept in mind. So these are objectives, morality, and consequences. So let's see the objectives. What is objectives? Overall goals, values, emotions, and perceptions influences how individual respond. The process may also be influenced by the values, beliefs, and the concentrated intention of the individuals. The organizational culture creates an envelope where all these aspects are either subdued or intensified. The organizational structure creates positions of power due to organizational hierarchy. Some communication which are indispensable may not always be pleasant. Morality. Being truthful is imperative, but sometimes the truth hurts. Thus, framing the communication without sacrificing the objective of communication increases the morality involved in communication. Using the subtle art of deception could cross the line of ethical standards at times. Therefore, it should be ensured to disclose the truth carefully and compassionately, thereby achieving the fulfillment of constructive objectives of communication. There are times when individuals are in conflict between speaking the truth and hurting others. Consequences. The consequences derived at the end of the communication are a logical sequences to the objective and means of communication. It is quite possible that noble intentions and ethical means lead to unpleasant consequences. People initiating a conversation have to weigh the magnitude and direction of consequences that could follow a communication. An example, a new report on scam about a bank drafted with the objective to create awareness and with truthfulness and transparency may lead to grave upheaval among us shareholders and our customers. In totality, ethical communication should consider the intention or objective of communication, the means used to convey the intention, and the possible consequences of the communication. Of course, these are more complexities related to ethical communication, yet these three could operate as the most essential elements of designing ethical communication. And activity 3 is here based on this subsection. You may please do it. And evaluation of ethical communication. The most organizations at some time or other could face some common ethical issues. Using work computers or for personal or non-work activities is a very common issue that organizations are facing today. This could be related to stealing also, where employees do not mind using the property and time of an organization for personal use. Employees also indulge in lying for various reasons like asking for leave, getting or keeping their job, getting advance money, etc. Creating false impressions at the workplace is another common practice. It is a common activity among us employees to portray what they are actually got to get accolades and praises. Employees also get into the act of using organizational activities for personal benefit, like getting a bribe for getting a contract signed for the supplier, etc. Confidential information, when divulged to outsiders, is an ethical task. Similarly, hiding information for personal good is critical. Taking an unfair advantage is a common phenomenon in organization. And ethical issues occur at a time when either the communication will have a significant impact on the audience or is a conscious choices of means and ends or can be adjudicated as right or wrong. This process also include ethical evaluation by the receiver. The ethical intent of the source and the ethical choice of the receiver are what play a significant role over and above the message. Ethical responsibilities vary as per the situation. The same individual might respond differently in different situations. Reading 1996 has raised four questions that should be asked in order to increase attention to ethics. These revolve around the following concerns: the communication that is designed for different type of receivers, which amongst them treats the message as unethical. Why is the communication treated as unethical, and what are the parameters that are used for evaluating the ethicality of the message? What is the connection of the ethicality of these messages and the organization culture, and to what extent do they affect the culture? What are the repercussion of communication that is deemed as unethical? How does this unethical communication and other individuals or processes with others in the organization and the society as whole? And the study of conducted by Range has also contributed to the understanding of communication ethics. He evaluated the research conducted on ethical communication and arrived at the following areas of attention. The moral worth of communication behavior varies with the set of people involved, and unethical behavior evidently occurs in business. And this unethical behavior to give results in the short run. And communication ethics is business usually revolved around all functional areas of a business. And ethical beliefs guide the behavior of an individual. Honesty and trust are the most significant parameters of business communication ethics, and the demographic and psychographic age, gender, perception, etc. of an individual influence the ethical values, beliefs, and behaviors. And both written and oral communication form a part of business communication. There are multiple theoretical perspectives that a person can comply with while determining the ethical standard of communication. The communication ethics theories suggest how communicative behavior is viewed and understood. Table 1: Comparison of various perspectives on ethics and their application in communication. So, perspectives on ethics: altruism, categorical imperative, deontology, communitarianism, and cultural relativism, and this ethical egoism, justice, and nihilism, psychological egoism, and social relativism, subjectivism, utilitarianism. So these are the ethical ethics, that is perspectives of on ethics. Okay, and it is divided on foundation, standard, application in business, and application in communication. So comparison of various perspective on ethics and their application in this table. So you just refer this table, and in between any doubt you can contact us anytime. Okay, so next is model of ethical communication. So here is one figure is there. So model is there. One is sender, receiver is there. In between there is message, objective, morality, consequences, and channel honest, not harmful, and fair. Value system is there in between. So it can therefore be concluded that ethics is a difficult term, and it is enough that it is a tough task to segregate business communication between good and bad. So even when there are some given ethical perspective, it most of them are relevant based on the context and situation. Ethical business communication is a complex activity and takes considerable effort to reach a conclusive standard. The responsibility of the consequences of communication, both short term and long term, are in the hand of the parties involved in the process. And activity 4 is here, and case situation. So you just try to do it, and summary of this unit is here. So in this unit we discuss the concept of ethical communication and how it can be applied to the business world. Ethics and communication have meaning that are largely diversified. Ethics So, in communication refers to the application of ethical considerations in practicing communication. It refers to the process of sharing honest information with the sincere intentions. When practicing ethical communication is also means that you will not tolerate communication that demean an individual's existence and human value by act of misrespect representation, terrorizing, compulsion, vehemence, and partially and hearted. It includes both internal and external communication. We study that truthfulness, accuracy, honesty, and reason are guiding principle to ethical communication and acceptance to communication initiated by other before evaluating it is the first step to commencing an ethical communication. So we also discuss different kind of various ethical lapses and the common in modern business which included like that. So you just refer that table, and keyword section is here. If you feel any words are difficult, you just refer this section. And as usual, the self assessment questions also here. It will help you for your term and examination like your assignment, so you must do it. And in case any doubts, you can contact us anytime. The first question is evaluate the role of value in ethical communication. And while working in an organization, which value are more important for an individual, personal or organizational justify? What would you do if you were caught in a conflict between personal and organizational values, and why? Are advertisement ethical? Write an elaborate explanation to support your answer. And are the ethical findings in ethical communication valid for the organizations that rely heavily on technology? Why or why not? Okay, so these five questions are here. So this is last chapter of our MMPC 007 course. So you just revise our previous videos also. Between any doubts on your MMPC 007 course, you can contact us. And for MBA, more MBA videos, you just do like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.
i-tutor Academy presents IGNOU MBA complete syllabus coverage classes for individual students, semester-wise subject with online and flexible timing. For more details, contact on +916 238 21785.